I'm not looking forward to this banner. And the only reason why I'm even saying that, right, is because, one, we have Navia and we have Nilou rerunning. But we have two characters that I have yet to C6, and that's Kirara and Kaveh. And I actually really want to C6 them. So for me as a whale, I really want to summon. But I'm also kind of torn because to me, I look at these and I'm like, is this worth the summons? That's what we're going to talk about today. Should you summon on Nilou and Navia? Now, of course, if you like the content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next Genshin Impact video comes out. And of course, don't forget, I'm sponsored by the Ever Wonderful Gamer Subs. Use code TYSTRA for 10% off. Y'all, we have the Buff Pup Cup up right now. Buff Pup Cup up right now. Yes. And it's a glow in the dark one. So make sure you get it. I just got water for now because I just got home. I've been rushing to try and get stuff done. I still have to do all my dailies and everything, so I'm kind of behind. Yeah, so let's go ahead and dive in here, right? Let's start out on this side. Let's talk about Ningguang. Ningguang is just a miss. Like, Ningguang's been out for so long. I feel like almost every account has Ningguang. I have not met somebody who does not have Ningguang. Now, at the same time, when I look at the original 4 stars, and I'm thinking about these characters, Ningguang is not somebody that you need to have for your builds to do well. Is she good? Absolutely. She could be used as a DPS, mainly as a DPS. You could use her as a sub or off-field DPS as well, I believe, or of some sort. But most of the time, you're going to be using her on field. I think really the only good thing about her is the shield that she gives off for like the little wall shield that you could shoot through. Otherwise, like, to me, Ningguang's just not worth it. Ningguang doesn't brighten up a banner, right? So to me, Ningguang just gets it down. Like, she's hot, she's great, but that's about it. I feel like that's most of the time. It's like either they're great in game or they're hot, right? And Ningguang's hot. And she's okay in game, but I don't think that you should base your summons on her. Yeah, that's really all I got for that. And Geo being one of the worst elements right now, there's no saving it right now. Let's go ahead and talk about Kirara first, because I really think that we should talk about Kirara. I'm not surprised Kirara is on these banners. However, I was really hoping that Emily would be part of part 1, which I knew she wasn't right when we got the live stream. So it's not like, you know, I was like, oh, maybe they'll change their minds at the last minute, because I do want Emily. I do think Emily is going to be a little bit fun for me because I really want to try out Burn. Now, with that being said, I was hoping Kirara would be on that banner, but she's not. So I'm kind of upsetty spaghetti that we're not going to get her on that banner. Now, Kirara's pretty good, and she's getting a costume, so she's kind of like one of those things. It's kind of one of those things where you're just going to be like, hey, she's right there. I have the costume for her because it's free. I get her for free, so maybe I should get more cons for her. However, if you're just looking for the one, it doesn't make sense to summon for more copies of her if you're not going to use her. Like, for me, I would use her. I think that there's a chance for her to do some good in a burn team. A chance. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to be a guarantee, but she could do some good stuff there. Yeah, I think that Kirara has a lot of potential with burn, but you know, at this point, burn's not going to be a sustainable element as of right now. I think that Natlan's going to improve on it, but I think that Kirara is still somebody that you should have in your box. But again, you get her for free, so what's the point? There's no point in summoning for her. So honestly, it's kind of a mid, because if you're gonna main Kirara or use her as a, you know, option on your team, definitely going for more cons is not a bad idea. However, if you're not and you just want the free one for the costume, there's no point in summoning, right? The Wonder Lad returns, Kaveh. I honestly think they only put Kaveh on this banner because everybody was complaining. However, it makes more sense to me, and I'm gonna say it again, because I just said it for Kirara. It made more sense to put Kaveh on the banner with Emily. And the reason why I say that is because Emily is looking to be a good off-field DPS / support for burning. And I don't understand why they would put Kaveh, who is considered a DPS in his own right, in a banner with Geo Infusion. Because guess what? There is no Geo Infusion with Dendro. There's nothing. So there's no point and having Kaveh on this banner. I think they literally just did this to stick it to the people complaining about Kaveh not being on the previous banner, which honestly, he should have been. And this would have been the great time to put him on Emily's banner. Is he good to summon for? He's decent. He's decent. I don't personally like playing as Kaveh, but I did want to C6 him because, you know, again, burning potential, right? It annoys me. It annoys me because this banner makes no sense, in my personal opinion. It doesn't make sense to have two different elements on this banner with 4 characters, and one of those elements being Geo that doesn't work with Dendro. To me, this banner is just, ugh. I don't know. Overall, Kaveh gets a mid, because the reason why I'm giving him the mid is because he's good, and it's high time that he finally came back, but it's just the wrong banner. Wrong place, wrong time. I don't think Hoyoverse truly cares about, you know, what's going on. They're just going to put a character on there, and they're like, oh, well, we'll satiate the Twitter people. Let's put Kaveh on the banner. Wrong time to put Kaveh on the banner, bro. Oh, nope, we're going to weapons. Didn't mean to go to weapons. Let's talk about Nilou. Nilou is a gorgeous character, in my personal opinion. The way they animate her is fantastic, and her attacks are really, really nice to look at. However, I don't think Nilou is that character that everyone is like going and hooting and hollering for. I know a couple people that really do like Nilou, and I'm not saying that Nilou's bad. I just think that Nilou, in the grand scheme of things, when you're using her, she's going to be used as DPS. And I just kind of look at her and I'm like, I don't think that this character is worth the primos. Nothing against her, just she's not worth the primos. I think that, and maybe this is just tired and frustrated Tystra coming out. I think that it was a waste of time to put her on this banner. Now, granted, at least she has a possibility of working with Kaveh and Kirara. That's good. So if you are going to summon for the 4 stars, at least summon on Nilou, who could actually work with 2 out of the 3 4 stars instead of 1 out of the 3. It makes the most sense to me. So Nilou is a decent unit, and if you haven't pulled her yet and you really want to try her out in the trial, see if you like her, and then summon. I honestly think that not a lot of people are going to want to play Nilou. I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about it. And if Twitter or YouTube explode the comments like, oh, we use Nilou all the time, that's cool. But a majority of people, a majority of the player base, I'm pretty sure, is using other characters like Arlecchino, Florand, even Hu Tao. And then we're getting ready for, like, you know, like Natlan, they're probably using other characters too. And honestly, they're probably using the other 5-star more than they're using Nilou because of the damage potential. Granted, Nilou has a lot of damage potential, don't get me wrong. But Nilou is very complicated in that sense. I think that Nilou is that skill gap for players that have been playing for a while and understand mechanics a little bit better. They enjoy her. However, the casual player is not going to entirely enjoy Nilou's mechanics when it comes to, you know, the why am I blanking on this? The hydro dendro reaction. I don't know why I'm losing the hyper bloom, like, or bloom just in general. Hyper bloom with electro, but I don't think they're really going towards Nilou's kit. That's just what I'm seeing here. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't see people touting about Nilou's rerun. I don't. Everyone's touting more about Kaveh being rerun than Nilou, and that's saying something. Speaking of reruns, let's talk about Navia. Navia is great. I think that Navia was a great addition to Geo by giving her that power of just being a good, solid DPS, right? She's not breaking records, in my opinion, but the amount of damage that she could shell out is pretty dang good. I've been using her E for a couple of my teams on the side, and she can boost up from 150 to 200k damage on an E if you do it just right. But again, it's all technical. You have to make sure you understand Navia's kit before you really start shelling out that damage. And if you're a casual player who doesn't really understand kits all too well, you know, and doesn't want to research it up, it's going to take you a little bit to really get that understanding of like, oh snap, I just did all that damage. You know, believe it or not, like, a lot of casual players are not even going to get to that level 90 area to be able to shell out the amount of damage that they want. They're probably not even going to get past the level 50 grade. you're probably going to play, summon for a character, and then leave it for another time and then come back. While hardcore players are here doing constant, runs with these characters. Like for me, I'm always doing, damage runs in domains to see how fast I can clear them out. And Navia was up there. Navia was very, very good. But I think overall for the casual player base, they're either going to summon for her because she's really pretty, or they're going to summon for her because she's hot. Like it's the same thing, but not the same thing. You know what I mean? Plus she has guns and cannons. I think that's overall cool. Should you summon for Nilou? I think that if you are a veteran player that wants to get better at mechanics, Nilou is definitely one of those characters that I think is really good for getting a better understanding of kits and all that stuff. I think that her kit is actually not as straightforward as people might think it is, especially when you're trying to get the amount of damage calculation that you want. Should you summon for her as a casual player? I don't think so. We have Natlan around the corner. We have, we have Yelan freaking rerunning in the next part of this update, which I think is a way better option for a sub DPS and all that other stuff. I think she's a much better option. And Nilou is kind of a main DPS that isn't going to shell out the amount of numbers that she needs to. So to me, I think that this is a skip. Even with Kaveh and Kirara on the banner, I do think it's a skip, unfortunately. Should you summon for Navia? To me, this one's a little bit tougher because, again, Geo needed that really, really good DPS character. Outside of Ito. Ito is still really good, but I think Navia outdamages him. In some cases, right? There are some cases where Ito just absolutely pumps. If you're looking for continuous damage over time, I think Ito wins. But if you're looking for that, like, one-hit wonder, like, boom, dead in one shot, that is Navia, right? So two different DPSs for two different types of damage that you're wanting to go through. But I think the 4 stars tell all for Navia. And you have one 4-star that just isn't really a part of a lot of teams as of late and isn't really that great. You have a character that finally gets their rerun, but on the wrong type of banner. And you'd probably have a better time summoning for Nilou to get him. And then you have Kirara, who you get for free in this update. So to me, both these banners, and I feel like I've said this so many times, it's a skip. It's a skip. We have Natlan around the corner, and even if you want to get that summoning itch out the way, we have Emily just around the corner, and I think that Emily, despite what people are saying, is going to be at least a little fun for people who want to experience the burn team. Now, I'm not saying you should summon for Emily, but I am saying that if you want to get that itch, at least you could summon for somebody that's going to give you something new. So, anyways, y'all, that's going to be it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Again, sorry to complain about these banners. I just don't think they're that good. That's just me. So, anyways, y'all, that's going to be it. Love you to death. And as always, we will catch you in that next video. Please take care and be safe.